Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good.
Anyways, good to see you, Randeep. The cyclone seems to
Yeah.
have passed, but how have the past 2 months been for you?
Oh, they have been very introspective, doing things or spending time doing nothing things, which is always pleasurable, and I think it's very rejuvenating. Do have an outdoor kind of lifestyle, but I've spent a lot of time at home before as well, for preparing for something or, nothing to do, no money to spend. So through the years, so it's not been so bad. I've been going back to the basics, doing some reading, watching some shows, which one doesn't get to watch or read when one is working and traveling all the time. So it's been a good break, I think, good pause. Uh, I You go back to kind of thinking to where you started from and why you started, and it's like a whole reboot button that is being pressed, and hopefully not just for me, the entire world, and we can come back from it rebooted and a bit more responsible and all those things.
I so agree with you. And what one thing that I've liked about you in these past 2 months is you've really been raising. I mean, I call you the actor activist. You've really been raising your voice for the animals, and that's something I think humanity needs to hear because you mess with nature, it'll mess with you.
I have been doing that before this lockdown as well. I've
No.
been involved in it for the last some 3, 4 years, and I have learned a lot. I've come a long way, and it is an endless thing to learn about nature. And I think it's very important. It's very important to realize that we have to preserve. See, nature has a lot of viruses in it already, but it also has a defense mechanism to preserve human beings from it. We are cutting through it. We are eating those animals which we are not supposed to be eating or interacting with. So those things are now being transferred to us. So we have to be very careful about that and also know that there is a climate change that is going on. We have to as a collective, as people and as authorities like countries and manufacturers, industries have to be very careful about the exploitation of nature. We thought it was an endless resource some half a century ago, but that is not the case. It is very limited, and we have to be careful with it because we are a part of it. It's not there because of us. As we have seen, since human beings have gotten out of the way, nature is flourishing. It doesn't need us, we need it. And that kind of attitude change collectively can help us have a healthier future.
And also, Randeep, forget, talking about the environment, yes, you've spoken about animals, but also otherwise, you've stuck to your ideologies. Does it become difficult being in the industry that you are, where people tend to travel that safe line? You managed to, stick to your guns and saying, this is what it is. Must be difficult.
It is difficult, and it is also easier because it is hard to walk a path dictated by others, and it is easier to walk on your own path. But the problem lies in the fact that you don't know where you're going.
True.
So it has been tough. It has had challenges, but over the years, I've also adapted a lot to it. It's not that I have drawn a line in patthar ki lakeer bana ke maine nahi kiya hai. I have done all kinds of movies. I've done all kinds of roles. I've worked with all kinds of filmmakers. I have, so I have also constantly kept adapting to it. But basic quality of work, which one owes to oneself more than anybody else, I have tried to maintain that. I've tried to, find new things about characters and find new things about myself so as to not repeat myself. I was told earlier in my career that I should not even change my hairstyle or anything, and I should do the same kind of like D release today 15 years ago, and I should keep doing these gangster and cops, and that will be the thing. I had refused at that time to sing and dance. I found it very funny. It's not my voice. All of a sudden, all these people appear and start dancing. But I also do understand over a period of time that music is a fabric of any culture. And since we do not have standalone rock stars as many as we can consume, hence the film music is very important to the fabric of our culture, our nation. So understanding that, then I became a part of songs too. In fact, when Dev Saab died, I was looking at it and I was like, see, they're playing songs. So what if, when I die, what will they play? So I did some songs. I did some music movies as well, like Jism 2 and all that movies. And then there have been some great songs in part of my films. I don't know how popular they are, but I really love them.
But talking about films, I've met you over the years also, but what intrigues me is what is this between you and real life characters? Kabhi Charles Sobraj, Diana, Sarabjit. Is there, you like playing real life characters?
Oh, it's just an easier reference.
You let the secret out.
Yeah, no, it's... I have always been fascinated by not playing myself on screen. In fact, all of my characters in 30 odd films that I have done, none of them is me, but I am all of them, you know. So that experimentation, and then you also do what opportunity comes to you. You try and do the best of what you get, man.
True.
So these are the things that I was fortunate enough to get, and I was bold enough to try and attempt and be these people over a period of time. So I find it very fascinating, but I was wrong when I said earlier that it's easier reference. It's definitely harder to find something. Absolutely, yeah.
True. And also, as you know, whenever I meet people, they see your films, people who watched Highway, who watched all the movies you do, he बहुत underrated actor hai. Why is he not, shown more? What do you think is the reason?
I really don't know. That has been plaguing me for the last 15 years. And I have, over a period of time, started taking it as a compliment.
It is.
Because it's better to be underrated than overrated to begin with. But I'm not coming from a place of ego here. But it also means that there is a lot more that I can possibly do, and people keep exploring, the filmmakers, the directors keep exploring for me to have the opportunity to do all these things. It's a teamwork. Filmmaking, any role I play, a lot of the credit goes to the people around me or people who are making the film. I'm a part of that. So this whole thing of maybe he can do this also, like playing Rangrasya after doing D and Risk was, I don't know how Ketan imagined me in that. And I tried my best. And then after doing, so many, after doing Highway and all that, to play Sarabjit, to, then to never doing a hand-to-hand combat action film, really, to be cast in a film like Extraction, which was just bang, bang, very realistic, fast-paced, energetic action. So I think it happens to you. I think you cannot plan it. It just happens.
True. Very, very true. And talk about Extraction. You were one of the few actors to have a release during this lockdown. And now I hear there's Extraction 2 coming as well.
Well, I was one of the few actors who didn't do any work for 3 years prior to Extraction because I'd grown a beard and long hair and become a Sikh and refused all work, which means also all money. So I think this might be the nature's or the God's way or the universe's way to balance it out, that when everybody was running around working, I was not doing anything. And then when everybody's sitting at home, everybody's watching my film. So that is just something that happens, But yeah, it has been very surreal. It has Extraction 2. I don't know what's going to happen, but the whole journey of Extraction has been very surreal. To get work in such a big Hollywood blockbuster when you're not new, because new you're unexplored, but to get it after doing so many films. So they must have gone through all my films to make this decision to invest, to put me in a movie with so much money invested. So I think that is what we were talking about earlier. You keep doing things and then it leads to something else. But deepest desire of any artist is to get across to as many people as possible. I had written this line for Rang Rasya in the final court scene, and it's coming true in my life. So from Japan to Brazil, people are exposed to me, my face, my name, and my performance, which is a big a boost in the arm, man.
So what was it like working with this big Aussie guy, Thor, Chris Hemsworth, doing combat? What was that like?
Oh, he's tall and he's big. To reach to punch him, you're like... No, but I tell you, he's such a sweet, humble, and such a witty guy. He carries his fame so well and so unobtrusively that a lot of people here can take a lesson from that. He rehearsed for weeks, and he was always there, always so much energy he brought onto the set. It was a great pleasure. I'd been an admirer of his work from a movie called Rush, directed by Ron Howard, which I really liked. And there's a great personality in that role that he's put in. And even here, I think, of course, through Thor, everybody knows him. But I think even in this movie, he put in not just an amazing physical performance, but a very good emotional performance as well. And on the set, he's a very cool guy. I really admire him for a lot of qualities and would like to take from him. And so it was a great working experience with him.
And as you said, 3 years you were invested in a project, Battle of Saragari, which we are still awaiting release. To invest so much...
It will never finish.
Aise to mat bolo. I mean, you never know, you can manifest miracles, yeah.
Yeah, you can. If it does, let's see what happens. But go on. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm just saying to invest it, wo kehte hain na professional harakiri, but you're so invested in it, it'll happen, na? Wo Alchemist ka, wo Shah Rukh Khan ka quote nahi hai, Om Shanti Om se. When you want something, it will. Universe conspires to make it happen.
Yes, but I am not the only person involved in the project. Maybe किसी और की लेनी होगी भगवान ने. But it's you cannot be disheartened. I mean, it was a very emotional thing for me, no doubt.
Yeah.
I have played it off rather lightly, but it has affected me. But then at the end of the day, there is nothing you can do about it.
True.
You've got to just go on and carry on with life. And this has been a great lesson for me to pick yourself up and get back to work. But I did learn a lot of good things from it, a lot of virtues of the Sikh religion. Like what does Sikh mean? Jo sikhda hai, the person who learns.
I had no idea.
So I was always a student of life and art and acting and all that. Now I've become more of a student about more things, and patience and fortitude and all these things. I've learned more from this. So it's been a great teaching lesson. And whether that movie ever happens or not, or people get to see it or not, we did shoot some of it. And there is that character which I almost lived for 3 years, and it is a performing art. I mean, मेरे बाथरूम के ऑस्कर तो तुमसे गिने भी नहीं जाएंगे जब तक लोग देखेंगे नहीं तब तक उसका कुछ होता नहीं ना. तो वो थोड़ा सा वो है, बट चलो कोई नहीं, और करेंगे.
I'm sure, and I was here listening to one of your interviews. You said you have an imposter syndrome. You're not alone. Even Shah Rukh Khan has an imposter syndrome. लगता है कि मेरी इस फिल्म के बाद लोगों को पता चल जाएगा कि मैं act नहीं कर सकता. Why this anxiety? I mean, a lot of actors do have this. Why so?
I don't know of anybody else having it, to tell you the truth. From me, I think it comes from the fact that I am not one of those actors. Chalo, come on, let's start. मैं वो हुई नहीं.
Yeah.
I need to change my thought process and all that. And every time, also that I'm trying to find something new, not being impressed with something that was liked. or be depressed about something that was disliked, which have not been many, fortunately. I really start from scratch, and I see what I see, and I try that. And when you do that, you can never be sure, because there is nothing tried or tested about it. You don't know whether you can carry it through the film. So all those things. So those things you feel like, this time, it's not going to work out.
Anyways, you have an exciting lineup coming. You're playing an antagonist after 20 years, is it?
Yeah, I've never really
In
played
Radhe.
a villain in any film that I have done so far, and I have not many villain parts are written very well, and also, I needed to. We are very quick to typecast people in our industry, so I never attempted it. I never thought of attempting it because it was not something I felt like. But then Salman has been asking me for some time to play an antagonist in his films, and I've played 2 roles in his films, which were really appreciated. So I said, okay, why not? So it was an interesting experience, and let's see. Maybe if something else comes along, I'll do it again. So after 20 years, I am doing things in a new way and doing new things. I'm trying to.
And also, we are living the new normal. Like, I'm talking to you across screens. I don't know when are we all going to sit.
Part of me likes it. Part of me likes it. I think after this lockdown is over, I forget going to all these banquet halls and cinemas to give interviews over and over again. Just sit at home, just chill, have lunch, do it on the thing, because it is working.
Absolutely. It'll save the producers money also. Yeah,
you don't need your cameraman, one light guy, one sound guy poking on top of your head.
And what do you think about digital releases of movies? I know your industry is also divided. Are you okay with it?
Yeah, absolutely. See, there is this whole thing that used to be, I am a cinema person. I started working in leading parts at a time when there was film. There was no digital. My first movie, D, which released today 15 years ago in Bollywood, shot about 1,200 cans, which is like a lot. On digital now you do that. So that charm of going to watch a film with a collective audience in a darkened theater, an occasion, it seems it is an occasion for a family, for a group of friends, for something to do. That I don't think is going to be replaced. Also, that now there is a comfort of these watching it at your home. And a lot of these shows are absolutely great, and they can never be in the cinema, but you can watch it here. And releasing the films on digital, you can get the monetary return. But who is number one? Who's made more at the box office? Who is this? That conversation might now be irrelevant, because a show which is probably not released in the theater, but it reaches more people. So there is a debate. As I said, an artist wants to reach out to more and more people possible. So the concepts of popularity, of hierarchy, of monopoly might change, but not the theater experience of going to watch a film in the theater, no. I would love to watch Extraction in the theater. It was always meant to be an OTT film, but I was hoping that first time I see it, I didn't see the movie the whole time. I mean, I hardly ever watch my films, but I wanted to see it first time on the big screen. So there you go. That whole engulfing environment will never change.
True. And lastly, before we go, I wanted to ask you also, as we were talking about this digital experience, shootings are resuming. Now they say no intimate scenes. Do you think it's going to change the narrative in the industry?
No, it's going to be for a very short while. It's just a rather stupid talking point. It is never going to be like that. The world is never always going to be like this. It will take some time to get around to it. But no, all that will not change. Movies are unless they start making a movie about lockdowns, which I'm sure there'll be a lot, and we will be we'll have to relive through this misery all over again.
I swear. अभी तो लोग Contagion देख रहे थे बैठकर. Why would you do that to yourself?
Contagion, yeah, but it's a very good film. But what I'm saying is that things will come back to normal. What I wish and hope is that it comes back to normal with an introspection that I'm sure everybody has gone in and comes back to the world rejuvenated and more sympathetic and to each other, to nature, to everything, as a better race collectively and individuals. That is what I am aiming for. All other things will return back to normal. This is not the first time that humanity has had to face.
I so agree with you. And better people, human beings need to redeem themselves. What happened to that elephant is still making me cringe.
Yeah, that was very sad. That is a larger issue than the elephant. The elephant, I'm so very angry about it. But it's an issue of man and human
exactly,
conflict.
Psychological.
Yeah.
Why are we so... I don't understand. Why are we so evil?
The pineapple was probably put there for a wild boar to save somebody's fields. So very harsh punishments for people who harm wildlife should be in place.
I so agree.
Followed by, in a constant way, by sensitizing them, educating them, and making them have a sense of pride in them, that they are surrounded by these people. And government does give them compensation of wildlife destroying somebody's crops or houses. So go into that. The wet markets eating wild bush meat has to stop. That is something which should not carry on any further. And we have to find ways of development, whether it is infrastructure or energy, not to go into the most biodiverse place in the country and open a coal mine, or take a road through a national park, go around it, find alternate ways of energy. So all those things have to come about for us to do this. Like, for example, I have not bought a water bottle for some time, a plastic water bottle. And I carry my own thermos or some other bottle with me, or even at home, I've got a matka as well. So, so doing little things. But has it stopped the water companies producing water? No. Water bottles. They don't sell you water. They sell you water bottles. Yeah. Have they stopped producing it? No. So the industry packaging has to change. If you buy a packet of how do you say I will not use a single-use plastic when you buy a packet of let's say Parle G? After you've eaten it, it's plastic waste, which is probably going to end up in the ocean. So that packaging has to change.
Absolutely.
For the change to happen. So the world is the administration, the government, the UN, everybody is telling people that do not use single-use plastic. But what alternative do they have? Because whatever they consume, especially food items, are all packed in plastic.
True.
So therein lies a collective, introspective change that has to come about in the world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. जाते जाते ये बता दो, other than Extraction क्या देख रहे हो TV पे? Anything exciting on TV? Other than
Extraction is probably the only movie I watched more than a few times, just the action part, because it's so impressive. I like to watch it.
Good job.
But otherwise, I've been watching a very interesting stuff like The Crown. I've been watching Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad. I have watched a series on this pedophile Epstein. Many things, and then movies. I watched Kamyab, which was very good. Then I watched Patal Lok, which was exceptionally written and executed and performed. Love Jaideep in it. So many things I've been watching.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Randeep. Hope to see you more often across like this, or maybe in a banquet.
Yeah. No more. I'm not going to ever do an interview with you in physical space. You only do it virtually. It's better. I'm more relaxed. Okay?
Same here. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye. Take care. Bye.